growing up as a kid in the islands, Fiji Islands is where I was born. I was always around a lot of aggressive, native Fijians, Samoans, Tongans, and I noticed that these guys genetically were very gifted. They were often, like most of them, as we know them, to be very big, tall, and just athletic capabilities, and very, like, even if they were not athletic, they had a lot of strength for being 6, 7, 8 years old or whatnot. I think I left Fiji Islands at around 8. Then I went and lived in New Zealand, thanks to my father who took us there. And even when I got to New Zealand, I would always see the Caucasian, the white folks, they've always had this edge, right? They're just built a little bit different versus us South Asian guys. So I knew at a very, very early age that genetically I'm not gifted to put on size. But boy, how that was about to change is because that was a limiting belief. The limiting belief, and I was not chasing self-improvement. I think self-improvement came by the way of how competitive I was in sports, cricket, soccer, rugby. Of course, some of you may already know martial arts is my foundation and staple, right? I played hockey too for a while, so there's a lot there. But what I didn't realize is that the self-improvement journey was already in my DNA because I was so driven. I was so competitive as a child. And I would run a lot. I would sprint a lot. I would go on marathon runs. I would bicycle a lot. And of course, dance. I was breakdancing as a kid too. And later on, I would become a lead choreographer for my boy band group, which is in my channel as well. I talk about auditioning and acting life here in Las Vegas. But I also give you a history of life as an actor, the dark side. And so as I started being exposed to hyper masculinity and this, there's no such thing as toxic, but just the competitive spirits that I was around and the influence, right? We were all very competitive guys, and they pushed me to my limit, and at times broke me too, which is very necessary for young men today. And by that is I would lose a lot. I would lose a lot of games. I wasn't a guy that got really past the ball too much. And when I got the ball, it was out of desperation because I was the only open guy. So, most times I was the uncool guy as a kid that got left wide open, and I still couldn't get the shot in for God knows why, or score the goal, because I would freeze sometimes, just have that self-doubt, a panic attack, or whatnot. Even as a kid, a lot of this has to do with the childhood, right? Your home and what goes on internally that kind of shows up in your social circle and outside of life when you're competing. And even in martial arts, I would get my ass handed to me, is because sometimes in these competitions I would just freeze. And a lot of this has to do with what my mother was feeding me in the background, right, as a kid. The lack of self-belief and doubt, and putting those poisonous traps in your psyche from a very early on age. But this video is not about that. This video is about pushing through all of that, recognizing that you're losing, questioning yourself, why you're getting beaten up, right? Why are you getting picked on all the time, right? And you have to do something about it. I was forced to fight. Go to war, battle in schools, and these used to be some really brutal blows. And most times I would get my ass handed to me. Once again, kicked, right? I didn't have any strength. I was scrawny. I was skinny, and I couldn't even get the girls, man. And I remember there was one specific fight before I left New Zealand that I think I won that. I'm not gonna say I won, but I got the best end of the best end of the stick there. I think I got in a few more punches and I roughed up the guy a little bit more. I mean, I took the hits too, but the crowd, my peer groups, determined that I won that fight. So, hey, I will take that. And that was my epiphany that I am now 16. 17 is when we left New Zealand. That fight happened at 16. I was tall. I was still scrawny, but I was tall. I didn't have any size, but I knew I was just a little bit taller now, and a growth spurt has occurred. And we would watch Bollywood movies and Hollywood movies and see like muscular physiques, right? Men that are heroic and stature and size, right? Like Van Damme, of course, my guy, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold, and others, right? That I missed. But when I got to America, right, I started sort of my dance story, like my dance path took off. Like it took off. I was in dance competitions, battles, but I didn't quite have the strength. I always had a lot of speed and agility because of all the years of stretching and putting in that work, right? Being disciplined about it. And I always used to wonder that how come that guy looks this way and he's got like big biceps and the triceps, bro. I'd be a bros. Like I would be a bros bro. Like I would want to know. That's the kind of friend I was. And surely enough, over time, I dabbled with some weight training, but nothing serious. Nothing serious, right? Nothing serious. I was noticed for my great hair I had then. I had a little bit of a baby face back then. Still do, I guess, till now, which is why people tell me I don't look my age. I'm 49 for those who don't know. Um, but as time went on, I would say, of course, my love for alcohol, right? That story, which is also on the channel. I didn't really start picking up the weights seriously until age 31, 32. 32 is where I really found my strength. And man, I can tell you, after that, my life changed forever. Like I gained so much size. I think it's like 35, 36 is like it's when you start really hitting your peak in terms of your testosterone, your hormonal functions, right? Biology. And I just so happened to tap in at the right time. I still had no real research on lifting. I just knew that I want to lift freaking heavy. So I got into ego lifting. And as a result, of course, being a musician and leaving the boy band and forming my own Justin Timberlake style journey, I started getting noticed because now I put on a lot of muscle. I got big. My height, 5'11", and the way my clothes were fitting me now is like going a little slimmer, right? And now I'm wearing fitted attire. I'm wearing fitted T-shirts, and all of a sudden, girls and ladies started noticing, and that's my life changed forever since. So when I spent my teens and 20s crying about not getting the girl, I got to reiterate that after 30, 31, 32, my life changed. I couldn't stop if I tried. Like my choices, abundance, it all came without me even trying. Now it wasn't always these stories like that I'm telling you wasn't always like this. And even when the abundance came, I had to weed out the ones that I thought I was compatible with, that I was attracted to, versus the ones I was not attracted to. Having that abundance mindset and having choices, right? We all have it at certain ages. And for me, for guys, for my brothers, I think the door of a window opens up when you get to about 32, 33, and so forth, right? So this is why it works a little bit differently for guys and it works way differently for females because they mature much faster than boys, right? And by the time they're 17, 18, they are already being asked out by older men, right? They're being flown to different parts of the world, Dubai, to Miami, right? And God knows where, Europe, right? And you see this in today's social media, uh, you know, culture, private jets, this and that. And those guys are millionaires, and those are older gentlemen flying them out, right? And in some cases, these guys are really jacked into self-improvement. They don't necessarily have to be, but the moral of the story is you're not doing this for the ladies. That's just a byproduct, because you're doing this for yourself. And yes, the attention will come your way. That's where you have to be responsible about it. But if you're struggling to get in shape, folks, make self-improvement your priority. This is what I would give myself. This is the advice I would give the younger self, right? When I was 21, 22, and had all that time in my hands, going through some immigration mess because of my mother that she put me in, and struggling with accepting my dad's Parkinson's condition. What I didn't realize is this was all fuel that you can feed to your fire, to your anger. Like this is all ammunition you can use to fuel your workouts. And that's another thing, is you have to find your why. Why are you doing this? And once you start feeding your why, the motivation just compounds. So you don't even need pre-workout for these moments where you train. I have a gym in my place, ever since I started training at the age of 30, 31. Um, and it never went away. It's always followed me through nearly 20 years of me living alone now. And I can tell you firsthand, I don't even need a gym membership. I took self improvement so seriously that it's like a Bible now. It's repetitive. I almost know what I'm going to do. Like it's not even a it's an afterthought. Like I'm just sleepwalking through my routines now. Of course, there's a muscle to mind to muscle connection. That's advanced, and I already know that. But like the habit is so dialed in that nothing can deter me from my environment. So that's another thing in self improvement is that the way you set up your environment, okay, who you choose to keep around, and what you consume on television, and even where you sleep and eat and breathe and go bath, like all of these things will dictate your habits. Now, and you have to put yourself in a position to win, guys. This is what winning looks like. You can take it from an older man who's 49, almost nearly 50. You can take it. This is what winning looks like. I can't advise you on the other aspects of life. Maybe money I can, finance I can, your career path I can. But I want to stick to self improvement because even in my career path, when I would go to business meetings and conferences and meet with clients and walk into those big events, I'm not, by all means, there's always going to be someone bigger, better, fitter than you. Let's just get that out of the way. And I wasn't one of them. But your energy changes when you care, the way you carry yourself, and of course, the way you look. And people will notice, people will treat you differently, people will roll out the chairs for you, and all of a sudden you become that guy like, hey, you're working out, huh? I can see the arms. I can see you've lost weight, like on your waist side. What are you doing, huh? Like all the ladies are behind. I see that girl checking you out. Like you start getting all of that. And so, on one hand, you're doing this for yourself, but on the other hand, you love that feeling. You love the respect people give you, right? People will respect you differently because it's hard in today's society. It's not even hard. We don't see a lot of this in today's society, especially men my age walking and carrying themselves this way. Outside of recording and producing content for YouTube, you know, I am one of few. Although the man's space, as I say, the manosphere has blown up. It's wide open now. That we are teaching men to be better in this sense. And what you want to do is take advice from other men, not women. You have to take advice, self-improvement advice from men. It's because I think there are certain roles where only a man knows a man in that sense. Is we know a man's struggle. Like we're not too argumentative. We're not jealous of each other for the most part, at least. We admire when a brother has a great physique and a lifestyle, and we're like, hey, bro, what's your secret? I want to be like you. You inspire me, man. Like I want to be. We want to learn. We thrive off mentorships. We thrive off of heroes. There's a reason why we have our favorites. Like Kobe Bryant was my guy. Rest in peace, my brother. Michael Jordan. Right now, of course, it's LeBron, but uh, you can't argue that he hasn't done what he's doing right now at the age of 40 is so special. So you cannot take that away. He's number three. And also in soccer, right? You look at Ronaldo, Messi. In UFC, you have like Khabibs and O'Connors and other greats, right? So I study these athletes and try to take from them. So what you should do, what I recommend you doing is learning from other athletes, looking at their lifestyle, looking at every athlete's character's backstory and see what drives them and why they train the way they do. And you will find you will find yourself in those stories. And all of a sudden, you're going to be locking in your current time, your current struggles, your current mental battles, your current health issues. And a lot of it is in the head. We are in our way. And once you lock into someone else's story that's of heroic stature, like the underdog that came from nothing but did everything, once you're able to like latch on to those kinds of stories, like it's game over, man, because it's just going to compound. Specifically, when Kobe Bryant shot 3 air balls as a rookie against Utah Jazz in the conference final, I believe in 1998 or 97, he came back the following year and was a beast because he didn't have his legs underneath him. And how ironic, but it's not surprising that he became known as the clutch guy, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Fourth Quarter. And yes, he shot a lot of volume shots, but he wasn't scared after that. So what matters is, can you put up the shots? Because if you're not taking the shots, you're game winners, right? You're not going to be in a position to eventually go see one go through the basket, which could be your game winner. And all you need is one game winner. That's it. It changes the trajectory of your life. That's how I look at it. So, you know, I don't care what your mother says. I don't care what your girlfriend says. You have to protect this advice and keep it within yourself as men. Like, take this advice from other guys that have been there, have succeeded. You do not take this advice from women because they don't know us like we know us, right? And I feel like today we have gone so far out of context and reach that when we start talking like this as men, all of a sudden, this is deemed as toxic masculinity, and it's so not true. I'll position it this way before I conclude this video: is how many of you are raising sons? How many of you watching this maybe at some point are sons, right? And you've been raised by a set of standards and values that do not align with really being a man and having this kind of dialogue. We need more of this. So what would you like your sons, right, to look like? The future husbands of fathers of the future, right? You need to have a solid frame and footing, and self-improvement kind of gets you there. And if that means surrounding yourself with self-improvement guys for a period in your season of your life, or a period in your life, that may be a good way to go. Like, join a club, join a guys group, like a men's group, a physical health and peak conditions, that strive for peak conditions. This could be joining sports, joining a team, sitting at a game, or connecting with a coach locally, right? Just going to a sports team, right? I mean, how much cooler is it going to these events, fitness expos and whatnot, versus going to a bar, sitting down, and just chugging it in, man? Just getting that gut, a nice round gut, right? I'm glad I can talk this way and just be myself, because there's no sugarcoating this, guys. Self-improvement is the answer. It's the way. And the advice to my younger self is that I wish I had someone like this driven in my path, in my proximity, that I could latch onto and say, hey, man, I want to talk to you more. Like, I want to go on these walks with you. I'm not a martial arts teacher, but hey, man, I like the way you move and stretch. Like, I want to learn those kicks, right? And today I'm in a position to give exactly that back, even especially to the older guys, man. Your coolest days are still here. You're still that cool dude, and you're still never late to become that cool dude, because with it comes a lot of life's beauties that you're missing out on. And it's not going to happen by you sitting on the couch. It's not going to happen by you not taking these lovely walks and getting in your steps. It's not going to come by overeating constantly. It's going to come by all these disciplines I talk about: intermittent fasting, taking a break from food, drinking your gallon of water, eventually detoxing off of sugar and processed foods, and trying to eat as much natural foods as you can. I'm personally on the carnivore diet, and I do intermittent fasting, which has helped me tremendously. It's helped me be in this shape. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. I would be stuck on my toxins and my alcoholic habits, and that would have been the end of me 5-6 years ago. So I'm here, folks. I'm here, walking, talking, making these videos. Self-improvement journey is never ending. There's never a finish line. The journey is the destination, not the actual end result. So if you end up getting a 4-pack, 6-pack, which many of you will, especially if you're younger, that is not the end goal, because now you've entered the black belt dojo of fitness. Now there's first degree, second degree, third degree, and life goes on. But how about we dial in and get there first? Get this right. Get this right first. It's the mindset that I'm trying to teach. Because you all have the talent anyway. You don't need me. It's the mindset. I'm more of that mindset guy, the mindset coach for myself. Maybe for you, right? If you're a guy in your late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, or somewhere like me, or even over 50, but you have a great job, but you're not happy with your health life, and you'd like to do better, we can talk. All right. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this one here. All my videos lately are going over 20 minutes. I don't know how I'm getting all these words out, but the more you walk, the better you feel, the better ideas just flow through your brain. Okay? To the next video. I'm out.